Welcome to BTV News Hour. I'm Angelina Mambo and it's Monday, the 27th of June 2016. Let's take a look to our headlines. Nigerian Air Force to acquire 10 training aircraft to boost capacity. Buhari neglects the nation's economy and is busy chasing Fayose and Saraki, said Melaye. Pedophilia, children are being stolen and raped by Hausa Fulanis. Don't attack Abia Governor's convoy, Ohaneze begs NDA. Buhari hails David Cameron and EU for allowing referendum. Niger Delta Avengers calls for referendum. Aisha Buhari and the Halliburton scandal. United Nations do your job, sanction Buhari for rampaging and killings of Biafrans. Now the news in details. The Nigerian Air Force, NAF, has concluded arrangements to acquire 10 Supermesh training aircraft from Pakistan Air Force to boost the country's security. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, made the disclosure on Saturday at the graduation of Student Pilot Course 41B in Kaduna. He said that the aircraft would be inducted into the 301 Flying Training School in Kaduna State. The Nigerian Senate deliberated on the alleged forgery of their standing order, for which Senate President Bukola Saraki and his deputy, Ike Ekweremadu, are to be arraigned for today, June 27, 2016. The Senate has resolved to mandate their Judiciary Committee to summon the Attorney General of the Federation, Malima Abubakar, to appear before court. Speaking during their deliberations, Senator Dino Melaye, representing Kogi West Senatorial District at the National Assembly, threw jab at President Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government over misplaced priority. Melaye accused the executive of chasing Fayose and Saraki when the economy is gradually falling into a recession. Few months ago, the Northern Christians, under the umbrella of Northern State Christian Associates of Nigeria, CAN, raised alarm that more than 1,000 teenage girls in the north of Nigeria have been subjected into forced marriages and converted to another religion against their wish. The newly elected chairman of Northern CAN, Reverend Yakubu Pam, who raised the alarm at a news conference in Kaduna shortly after the election of the new executive members of the association. Yakubu Pam condemned the increasing cases of abduction and forceful marriage of underage girls in the northern region. There are uncountable cases of teenage girls' abductions by the northerners who compete among their men to have most tender teenage girls for wives. They don't hesitate to address themselves as wife of either a governor, emir, or any other social figure in the north. Don't attack Abia Governor's convoy, Ohaneze begs NDA. The youth wing of the Igbo Social Cultural Organization, Ohaneze Ndibo, has appealed to the Niger Delta Avengers NDA not to attack the convoy of the Abia State Governor, saying that no pro-Biafra agitator is detained in the state. The group reacted against the backdrop of threats by members of the NDA to attack the convoy of governors in Biafra land, in whose state members of the pro-Biafra agitators are being detained. Expressing concern over the implications to the threat to the region, they particularly begged NDA not to attack Abia, explaining that its investigations revealed that no pro-Biafra agitator is behind bars in any part of the state. Just a fortnight ago, the news had it all over the world that Britain has finally voted to go out of the European Union. The Nigerian President, Muhammadu Buhari, applauded the British Prime Minister David Cameron for resigning from his post as Prime Minister, following Britain's successful vote to exit from the European Union. There is nothing visually wrong for people to applaud Mr. Cameron's resignation, but there is everything wrong for a person like Buhari to applaud Cameron and pretend or turn a deaf ear to the Biafra agitation to exit from Nigeria. The Avengers has called on dictator Muhammadu Buhari to take a cue from Prime Minister David Cameron by calling for a referendum so as to determine the readiness of various regions to secede from the forced marriage conjured by the British. Nigeria now ranks number 1 as the most corrupt country in the whole world. It therefore became obvious that all the anti-corruption campaign of the Buhari-led administration is just a ploy to hunt his perceived political enemies. If Buhari is really fighting corruption, why has he refused to probe the $182 million Halliburton fraud, which is the highest corruption act in the history of Nigeria, involving top politicians including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former President Olusegun Obasanjo and General Ibrahim Babangida, and also Aisha Buhari, the wife of the pedophile president of Nigeria? The recent development in the case of the passport forgery and impersonation by the First Lady Aisha Buhari to scuttle the imminent trial she will face soon has proven that she is truly involved in that fraudulent act. A clear look at the forged passport shows the real date of birth of Aisha Buhari, which is August 1971. It is on record that Mr. Buhari raped Aisha at the age of 9 and got her pregnant at the age of 13. Buhari is 33 years old and Aisha is 45, confirming the pedophilic act of Buhari on the innocent girl when she was growing up. It is needless to say that Aisha Buhari is also corrupt as his corrupt husband. If Aisha Buhari is innocent, she should travel to the United States and prove her innocence rather than lie and look for cheap excuses to bury the truth. This Halliburton case should not be swept under the carpet. The United States Department of Justice should leave no stone unturned to bring to justice whoever is involved in this fraud of the century. After all, Halliburton has been jailed for the same offense, while an accomplice to the crime is still walking free and abusing people. The use of atomic weapons on peaceful unarmed Biafrans on the 30th of May 2016 was not an act of moderation, nor was it an act that despited appropriate reasoning and responsibility. The unwarranted use of lethal force against largely peaceful civilian Biafran activists on Biafran Heroes Anniversary in Onitsha, Anambra State, clearly constitutes crimes against humanity. Human rights violations have continued unabated and with full impunity against Biafrans since the amalgamation of the lawless entity of darkness called Nigeria. These violations include extrajudicial killings, torture, sexual violence, illegal arrests and detentions, forceful abductions, forced disappearance, terrorism, sexual molestation of Biafran children and women, physical assault, looting, destruction of livelihoods, homes and properties. The operations of the United Nations need to be reformed, and the UN also needs to be more proactive in providing oversight and advice on good governance to the contraption called Nigeria. The international community should place an embargo for arms acquisition on Nigeria, and its president, Buhari, should be sanctioned over murderous atrocities against the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. However, Buhari's administration is responsible for a larger incidence of brutality and bloodshed on innocent Biafran protesters in Nigeria since the inception of his administration in 2015. Buhari should stop the killing of Biafrans with his murderous thugs and Boko Haram members in the guise of the Nigerian Armed Force. The restoration of Biafra is, however, drawing closer than can be imagined. Thank you so much for joining us here on BTV News. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching.